Studying can be a challenging task, especially for students with learning disabilities. Alexis Avila is the founder of Prepped and Polished, Tutoring and Test Preparation. He joins us this morning with study tips to help students. Alexis, wonderful to have you here.
It's an honor to be in your living room. Thank you.
In my set living room, right? So we're talking about helping students with learning disabilities.
Yeah.
Many students are struggling in the classroom and at home because they are faced with these challenges. So we're going to go through different challenges, their pitfalls, and strategies to help students overcome.
Let's do it.
So the first one is for the ADHD inattentive type. What are some pitfalls that they struggle with?
Well, ADHD inattentive type has trouble paying attention, and they have trouble with multi-step tasks. So that's kind of what they struggle with.
Right,
Yeah.
so multi-step tasks, so things that, when there's a lot involved in it. So these are things that can set them back and make them feel frustrated when they're trying to study and maybe give up. What are some strategies to help them?
Well, if you're working on like preparing for an essay, like an SAT essay, and it's like a daunting 25-minute, 30-minute essay, you got to teach them how to not just jump right into writing, but like brainstorm for 5 minutes, like list out your ideas ahead of time, and then go into the writing. So break the essay down into manageable pieces so they don't get overwhelmed.
Yes, and I think we all can benefit from that strategy as well, because
Absolutely.
it's very overwhelming to sit down and just write, but step by step makes it easier to complete the end result.
Definitely.
The next challenge we're going to talk about is for ADHD hyperactive type, the pitfalls or the struggles that these students have.
This type of student has a hard time, is very impulsive. So if they're taking a multiple choice exam, they're going to jump right into the answer choice, all right? They're going to actually not even do the work sometimes. They're going to just get overwhelmed by 5 answer choices and then just say, oh, C looks good. So what you got to do is try to teach them to relax a little bit, write out the math steps, come to an answer, and then confidently choose the answer choice.
So tell them to take their time, focus, and though it may be hard to do, I'm sure creatures of habit, the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, definitely.
The next challenge is unmotivated, low energy types, those that just don't want to do it.
Well, those kids are unmotivated. They come into a class ambivalent and have low energy. So what I recommend for these students is to make sure they get into small classrooms. You don't want to, put them in a huge lecture hall of 50 kids. They're just going to get distracted. Or if they're going to get a tutor, make sure it's like a one-to-one tutor, because it's a little bit more engaging, interactive with those kids. The tutor, the teacher in the small classroom can kind of engage with the student and ask them questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they're held accountable. Where if they're one of many, they can get lost in the shuffle.
Right, and a little inside tip is if they have no motivation or if they're lacking energy, a small piece of dark chocolate during the test will give them that extra energy boost.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's like a little treat just to keep them. I could use that too in my work day.
Hey,
I got to get myself some dark chocolate.
8 in the morning, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I don't know if that has to do with chocolate, but let's talk about the next type, executive function disorder type. What does this mean? Okay,
well, this is kind of like on the rise. A lot of kids, more kids are getting diagnosed with executive function. That's planning. They have difficulty with time management and planning. So to help overcome that, get them into a routine of waking up early on Saturday mornings, about 2 to 3 months before the SAT test, so they can acclimate themselves to the test conditions, and have them do homework in the morning on Saturday leading up. So it becomes like a morning routine leading up to the test.
That's a great suggestion. Then it doesn't feel such a shock when they have to get up for that early test on a Saturday. That's not just a simple test. It's pretty long and intimidating. So make sure that they feel ready for it by preparing.
Yeah, definitely.
The next challenge we're talking about is nonverbal learning disorder type.
Okay, nonverbal learning disorder students typically have a hard time making inferences, and also other issues. So
difficulty with word problems, it says here, so it seems like it's obviously a lot to do with vocabulary.
Perfect, yeah, definitely. So a great thing to do with kids with nonverbal learning disorder is teach them how to underline or circle key the math problems, the questions in the math problems, so they know exactly what to look for, and this will help them avoid careless mistakes.
Okay, so focus on, take your time, and focus on the exact question so that they can really find the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay, the next challenge is the anxious student type.
Well, the anxious student type catastrophizes, all right? Everything is just, you know,
dramatic, over the top, right? It's
yeah. Do you know anybody like that?
Yeah, I do, actually. No names, but
right,
everything, it's like the world's coming to an end every day.
There you go. So those kids, imagine what they feel like on a Saturday morning with 50 kids taking an SAT. So what you want to do with those kids is get them to take practice tests. But more important, take practice tests under simulated conditions. So have them, like, you know, get up on Saturday morning leading up to the test, take a full practice test, have their 5 to 6 sharper number 2 pencils next to them with time checks, so that when they go in, there's no real surprises. They know what to expect. They got this. Right,
they got this, and they feel confident, so that they can really just focus on the material, because everything else they're at ease with.
Totally.
The last type is the reading language-based learning disorder type. Tell us about this.
Well, those kids have reading disabilities, and when you take an SAT and ACT test, there's these daunting long reading passages. So one thing to do is teach them how to be really active as they read and answer those questions. So teach them how to mark up the passage from paragraph to paragraph, break it into small chunks, and answer questions, specific questions as they read, so they don't waste time, and they can don't have to, like, remember all these facts and figures and freak out because they have trouble with working memory.
Yes.
And then at the very end, once they read the entire passage, that's the best time to answer the general questions.
Right, exactly, and they've all those specifics underlined.
Yeah.
And it seems with all of these tips, Alexis, it really is about preparing and getting yourself ready and feeling confident, as opposed to memorizing facts, which is great advice.
Definitely.
And all of these tips will be on our website, mymassappeal.com.